Well, here we are on the second turn of Megiddo. The Egyptians won the initiative, which they're likely to do, and started reforming this unit. They were able to get a couple of these down to no tactical quality hits, but some of them they can't. And one of the reasons is the tremendous range of the composite bow. It can shoot out to 3 hexes, and that prevented a reload here, and it prevented this guy from recovering. So I had to kind of shift upward. I don't want to hit the back of this force. I don't want to deploy against these guys until I'm in better shape, is basically the feeling that I had there. Various pass-throughs and shots at these lead Egyptian chariots that had kind of broken through actually resulted in the first casualty for the game. We've got 5 Egyptian chariot point casualty. Only 40 more to go, right? You take more damage attacking, but you can target and wipe things out, and that's important in terms of once you... It's easier to recover, especially compared to being over on that chart where you're out of the game. Kind of a weird system so far. And the next pick was a successful momentum by the Canaanites, etc. Kardash. They triggered this force, and the Egyptians decided they can't withstand that. They need to break in here. They need to get some action moving. As things stand, they're just having too much trouble. So they tried to trump in. They failed. That means this momentum chip goes back in there, and this continues to operate as it would have anyhow. Now this is really intriguing. I'm looking forward to Devil's Horseman and whether that feels kind of like this. I swinged this chariot flank through, just running by the infantry, shooting it full of arrows as I went. It's destroyed. Shot up a chariot as well. That was over, I don't know, on top of here. And also curving around here without firing, charging into this. I'm going to hit the runner infantry from behind. I haven't resolved that yet, actually. Good thing. But basically what I'm counting on here is largely destroying it maybe with this roll right here. That didn't work. A 0 is significantly lower than a 4, so now I've got to go through the attack, but at least I have superiority coming from behind. And at this moment, with these kind of drive-by shootings, I want to say, I've come to my understanding that chip pull is absolutely the right mechanism here. If you use the standard Great Battles of History system here, players would know that they are likely to get the next move. Yes, there's still the trumping mechanism, but the chip pull adds the level of uncertainty and the risk and ups the ante for these type of outflanking actions. I think both could work. Actually, I'm a little leaning towards chip pull for more of the Great Battles of History type systems, and certainly Men of Iron type thing, because, well, sometimes it feels like you're playing a game, deploying, knowing that you're going to get the first jump on the other guy unless things go weird. Here, I'm sure there's also still cases like that, though, as the cup runs down and stuff, opportunities present themselves. So maybe there's not that big a difference between the two. Well, Kadashites failed on another moment. They had another momentum and they failed. The Egyptians got one, however, and succeeded. No trumping in on this. Mainly it was just an exchange of fire along the line from both sides. But we did have some infantry there and there charge into battle against chariots. The chariots didn't get a successful tactical quality, so they got pinned down into the attack. In one case, it broke through, smacked into the hex, and took enough fire that the infantry dissolved as well. Over here, the infantry's got the chariots pinned, and they're kind of engaged in combat in that location. Trying to remember to zoom in every now and then to show a little bit more of what the game kind of looks like in progress. Alright, yet another activation on this blue-colored wing here, and they have just smashed apart the whole left flank of the Pharaoh's chariots. He's still got these guys sitting back here, you know, mostly uncommitted, but his main line is just getting eaten apart here. And in terms of losses, well, he's only got 15 points of chariot losses, but he's down to 49 points, whereas the Kadashites are at 56. That's remaining undamaged. We also have some Kadashites in here, if I haven't mentioned, in the city. Routed ones. They don't come back, but they don't cost against losses for the army. Well, the Pharaoh got the next activation. He decides to launch, first of all, the missile attacks everywhere, but also ground attacks in there, and punched a hole in one unit. Has an engaged battle, which, let's see, we've got well, we've got a chariot attacking an RI. That's going to be okay. That's going to be the return value. See, we had this problem over here that's kind of not covered well in the game. These guys are engaged, and there's all kind of rules, and I'm just following the rules on this, essentially, because I'm not trying to figure out if there's some other intent here. There's rules on what you can and can't do when engaged, and you can't get away without disengaging. You also must attack, but the unit under there is a straight Chariot 2, and Chariot 2s are not allowed to attack. Oh, yes, they are. Yeah. Oops. Is it a Chariot 2 plus? No. Yeah, I thought they weren't allowed to attack. They're not allowed to attack Chariot, the Chariot plus RI situation. So it is possible to get into this situation where you're engaged with something you're not allowed to attack. Well, I failed to roll for them. I'm going to have to roll for them and see, because they're at a disadvantage when they're attacking, but the SI is at no advantage attacking them. So it's kind of maybe too much damage was occurring there. Okay, so a net effect of all that, he destroyed the chariot he was engaged with. That would have happened last time, so he got movement chance, and he slammed into this chariot. Now, there were a couple of return fire situations. So as he's coming in here, there was a return fire. Actually, I forgot to check technical quality on that thing too. It was fine. But in the end, the one unit he routed ended up only going there, so it's not a big deal. We do have some more losses to put in. And now the Pharaoh's beginning to do a little better as his infantry throws its weight into the battle. Not that he has a lot of it over here. His big infantry's over here, and none of this can move yet. None of it's gotten a trigger roll. There wasn't a lot left, just the Syrian infantry moving into place. Kind of afraid here, because the chariots seem to be able to do quite a number on the infantry, especially if they keep riding by. If they stay too close nearby, they can get schwacked by the infantry. But if they kind of start from here and make a quick run by, they can do a lot of damage. Neither of these guys over here got their trigger rolls. They got the chit pulls. They didn't make the right rolls, and they need pretty low rolls actually. Unless Pharaoh gets near him, I think he gives him a bonus, but it's not pretty. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's trying to rescue his standard. It almost got overrun. If he hadn't been alone with it, he couldn't have picked it up and run with it. And he's charging it into battle. That means routed units have a very unlikely chance to make it back to the standard. They have to trace a line back to it. And the problem there is it can't go next to a chariot, an enemy chariot. If it does, and we had at least one unit die that way. Alright, the next turn opens up with the Egyptians getting their initiative and sweeping this force forward. A few shots in the back, and then this column basically turned and rode by the Pharaoh himself, just every single one of them shooting at him. Now, he shoots back at everyone. It's not like this is you know, some kind of great advantage of crossing the T or something. It's not. Every single one of these Kadashite units is getting shot at too, but I'm able to direct all my fire at this unit and thereby do one hit for each one of these. In theory, it really wasn't. In exchange for taking one hit to each one, which I think probably was the case, although I'm not certain. But also I take damage from having turned. At least one took damage from that. So, you know, it's actually kind of a bad trade-off, except that I'm able to focus my fire on one unit. Well, after those initial actions, the Egyptians got another momentum chit, and in that, they launched an assault, actually, using these guys right up against them. They lost their chariots in the fight, but the runners held up well. Now, if you remember a while back, I was worried about runner infantry. It runs a 9 against chariots, but the combined runner plus chariots is only a 5, and that seems kind of severe. Actually, you've got an extra unit, so you get 2 extra shifts by throwing the double stacked unit in. I wasn't thinking about that when I was first considering it, but yeah, so that gets you the 7, which isn't too bad a table. However, we did have some problem in terms of not being able to trace supply to the closest space of the standard. This is the problem. The standard is ringed by chariots, so the closest spaces I can't actually pop to, which means I've got problems. That's why you want to keep your standard in the back, but hey, it ain't safe back there with all these chariots running around. In something like Men of Iron, you can kind of leave it in the back, but here it's kind of not a safe thing. Anyway, we've got another 16 points of chariot points. We're getting close to cracking the Pharaoh here. He's currently got 20. That's 36. Couple more chariots go, and he's lost the battle. And he doesn't have much option. He can't bring this infantry up yet. Successful momentum pick for the Syrians forced the Pharaoh to trump in again, and he's cleared out the rest of this, using his runners to smash into the rear of some of those chariots. Hitting back here, you saw this infantry actually did a repositioning and chased one of the chariots out to there. The problem is, the non-Egyptian side has a big old stack of units that just aren't counting against them, whereas the Egyptian troops are being left here on the field where they're kind of at risk. So far, none have been killed that way, but it's only a matter of time. In fact, that was the trigger. The momentum was going to be this force to sweep in and hit those routed units back there, which probably would have ended things. As it is, we just took a loss of 1 of these runner infantry, but the points are getting low, down to 24 total. Not a lot left. Like I said, just a couple of chariot units before that aspect will end things. So I don't know how much longer the Egyptians can hold this field. Well, at the end of the round, the 2 Egyptian divisions over here, they actually are now active, and now I can bring them into play. This action was a sweep by, killing off some of those routed units. Then the Pharaoh got the final action, and he tried to do some damage, drove some more units back into the city. And what we're really seeing is, right now, kind of one little wing of chariots left, and a fairly large infantry army down here. And now really the question is, how quickly can these come up? Can they change the balance? Because in terms of the balance of power, the Egyptians really haven't lost much more than what their opponents have, but their losses count. They haven't withdrawn back to the city. Their army's breaking all over the place, which is definitely causing them problems. And you know, we've got another round where we can shoot by and hit another 12 points. No more chariots, but another 12 points puts us real close if we can get those. That gets us down to what, you know, I don't know, 5 points, one more hit. It's going to be hard to make it through the battle without losing something. Chariots are pretty fragile, to tell you the truth. And the fact that there are still opposing chariots on the field, I think, means that there's no easy way to just, rain arrows down on the enemy. I'm going to load this one up. And I don't know, the next one should probably do it.